Good morning, students. I hope you have finished your previous work. Today we will continue with the same chapter, sentence structure. I hope you have revised the simple sentences and the compound sentences. Today we will start with the complex sentences. It is on page number 12 of your books. Now, the way we write simple sentences and compound sentences, it is always easy. But when we talk about complex sentences, as the word itself says, it is little complex, right? You'll have to understand certain rules, how to change or transform a sentence, right? How to write a complex sentence. Now, before we do that, there's one word that you will see in the complex sentences, that is a clause. The word is clause. It is another chapter in your book itself on page number 153, I suppose. Let me check if you have the same book. See in, I think so, it is page 1. Or not page, let me check. Page 158, sorry. So there's this chapter clauses. We'll be doing it, in the final term, I suppose, or maybe in the second term. But clauses is what I need to. I really want you to understand what this word clauses means. See the definition on the top. A clause is a group of words which contain a subject and a finite verb. Right? Now there are different types of clauses. Just see under it. This is the house which was built by my father. Which was built by my father is a part of a larger sentence and is not complete by itself. It is therefore a clause. Now, types of clauses. There are two types of clauses, principal clause or the subordinate clause. Now, that is what you need to know to understand the complex sentences. Right? Principal clause is, let's see what is a principal clause. A clause which is independent in its own meaning is a principal clause. The clause which cannot stand by itself is called a subordinate clause. Let me explain it with the help of a sentence. I take the same sentence that is given here. This is the house. Now, this is the house which was built by my father. Now, can you see the sentence? It's a proper sentence. It's a long sentence. Now, when you read a sentence, this part is complete. This is the house. It is complete, and you can say, okay, this is a complete sentence. If I'll put a full stop, it is a complete sentence. This is the house. But this part of the sentence, which was built by my father, is not complete. You can see that if I remove this part, it has no meaning. But if I remove this part, it still has some meaning. This has got meaning and it has got no meaning. Now you have to understand this part of the sentence can be here or can be on that side. This is known as principal. Principal clause. Principal, I hope you already know, means the head, the important, the main person. In the same way, principal clause or independent clause. Why independent? Because it is free. It doesn't need anyone's help. It is a free sentence. It is an independent clause. Now, when we talk about this part of the sentence, it is not an independent clause. It is a subordinate. This is principal. he is the subordinate. So this is subordinate clause, not the main principle. So subordinate clause, or we can say dependent clause. Right. Why dependent? Because it cannot stand on its own. It is not a complete sentence. So it needs the help of this part of the sentence. That is why it is not a dependent or a, that is why it is a dependent and a subordinate clause. You can select either. Fine. So now you know what is a clause, right? Every clause has got a subject and the verb. Now, if we talk about this sentence, it is a complex sentence. Remember, it is a complex sentence. In every complex sentence, you will have a principal clause and the subordinate clause. Clear? Remember, I have changed the topic from clauses to complex sentence now. Take the same sentence, take it, okay? Take the same sentence, and the same sentence is your complex sentence. Fine? And this sentence will always have a principal clause and a subordinate clause. If it is difficult, you can remember independent clause or the dependent clause. This is how you will remember it. Fine? Now let me read it so that you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Now on page number 12 of your book, they've given complex sentences. Now this sentence consists of two parts. First, where independent clause. Second, dependent clause. I have explained it here. So if you want, you can read it. If you don't want, you don't have to read it. The explanation is this. So any complex sentence, it has got two parts, principal clause and the subordinate clause. This is what they're trying to say, right? So let's move ahead. I'll take another example here. I'll take another sentence, then you'll understand. For example, they have given the definition as well. If you look into your books on page number 13, the first sentence, a sentence which consists of a principal clause and one or more subordinate clauses is called complex sentence. So now you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the principal clause and the subordinate clauses. A complex sentence can be formed by expanding words or phrases into subordinate clauses. You can always expand these phrases. Now by using a noun clause, for example, I'll take the noun and then I'll change the sentence into a complex sentence. See the first sentence, it says, I do not know the cause of his failure. The sentence is, I do not know the cause of his failure. Right? How we'll change it? I do not know the reason why he failed. I'm sorry. So I'll take the failure part and I'll expand it. I do not know the reason. The cause or the reason remains, it means the same. Take the reason, yes, they have used reason only. I do not know the reason why he failed. it. Yes. So what we've done, we have expanded the words and we have changed it into a complex sentence. This is your complex sentence, right? I do not know the reason why he failed. Now, if you see, this part is again your independent clause. It is free. I'll put a full stop here. It has got a meaning. I do not know. Now, this part is the dependent clause. The reason why he failed, it is not a complete sentence. So it becomes the subordinate clause and this becomes the principal clause. Therefore, it is a complex sentence, right? See the next one. They're talking about tell me your address. Now, when you see a sentences like this, remember in complex sentences, we expand the words. For example, your address, we can change it to tell me where you live. It should be, yes, where you live. So what we have done, we have expanded the words. Let me take another example. By using an adjective clause, means we'll take the adjectives and we'll expand them. Time once lost is lost forever. Now, time we are talking about, time which is lost forever. So, complex sentence, what happens is you expand the words. You use as many words as possible, but the meaning should remain same. I'll take the next one here. By using an adjective clause. For example, time once lost is lost forever. So that is now I'll change it. Time which is lost. So I've taken the phrase and I have expanded the words. Is lost forever. See the next one. He is a villager. He is a person who lives in a village. Fine. This is how you'll be changing it. You have to make sure that when you're changing it into a complex sentence, you have to expand your words, right? Let's see the next one here, adverbial clause. We'll use the adverbs and then we'll change the sentence. We'll use the adverbs from the sentences. For example, he is too poor to buy a bicycle. He is too poor to buy a bicycle. Right? I'm sorry. Now this is your adverb. We'll change it. He is too poor means he's so poor, okay? He's so poor that he cannot. We'll put a negative, that he cannot buy a bicycle. Right? So he's so poor that he cannot buy a bicycle. This is how you'll be changing it. I'll take another sentence as well. Oh, they have used another one here. The guest came after the sunset. Change it. Guest came after the sun had set. Right, after the sun had set. Right? This is how you'll be changing it. After that, you have, you can see there is an exercise. I will keep you only under compulsion. So we'll be discussing it. It says here, convert the following sentences into complex sentences. Now, I'm sure you know how to change a sentence. It says here, I will keep you only under compulsion. Compulsion means if it is compulsory. So the sentence will be, I will keep you only if it is compulsory. India is the land of my birth. So India is the land, or India is the place where I was born. This is how you will be expanding words. Time permitting, we will meet again. If the time permits, comma, we will meet again. In the absence of the cat, the mice will play. When the cat is not around, comma, the mice will play. This is how you'll be writing the answers. See, I'll do one thing. If you want, I can help you here on the board itself, or I'll do one thing. I'll send the PDF of all the answers. So just try doing it on your own. And in case if you have problem, then we can do one thing. I will discuss the answers here itself with you, right? So that is it. That is what you need to do. Just go through it, right? And then you have another exercise, number D, state whether the sentences are simple, compound, or complex. Do it in the book itself. You do not have to copy it. It has to be done in the book itself, right? You just have to state whether these sentences are simple, complex, or compound. Just write in front of it. But this exercise, convert the following sentences, has to be done in the notebooks, right? So that is it for today. We'll start with a new chapter in the next video. Thank you.